Hey everybody, it's been a long time since I posted a video. A lot of things, changes I've gone through. I've moved, COVID happened, lots of other little things. But I got something in the mail today and I felt compelled to post a new video. I have gotten this beast. So this is absolute Jack Kirby Fourth World Volume 1. And I just got it in the mail today, and it is just a massive, massive collection. And it got me thinking as I was going through this, which this is a gorgeous book. There's lots of other reviews on YouTube here about this book, but what I was thinking was, how much Jack Kirby have I collected over the years? And as you can see, I've collected a lot of Jack Kirby over the years. I have them organized in chronological order from his earliest works to his later works. And I am missing quite a bit of stuff there as well, but it just dawned on me how much Jack Kirby I had, and going through this Jack Kirby Absolute edition of Fourth World, I realized this is the third time I've purchased his Fourth World collection. The first collection I got was the black and white books that DC released back in early 2000s. And you know, they were a good collection. They had everything, and they were separated into the main titles. The New Gods had a book. The Forever People had a book, and Jimmy Olsen had. Well, let's get back to Jimmy Olsen in a second. And Mr. Miracle had a book. Now, the Jimmy Olsen was collected in 2 volumes at the time, and it was the only one that was in color. All the rest was in black and white. And then, of course, they released the omnibus collection, which, you know, everyone thinks of the omnibus as the big books, but at the time in the 2007, it was books like these in 4 volumes. Okay, and I didn't get the hardcovers, I got the trades. And then I donated my black and white books to my local library. And the trades were really nice. They printed everything in a chronological order. So that you started out with the first issue of Jimmy Olsen that Jack Kirby published or worked on, and then it just went through the titles as they progressed, and ending in volume 4 actually has the Hunger Dogs graphic novel, which he did much later in the 80s. But then DC released a true omnibus, all of the Jack Kirby Fourth World stuff collected in one of those large hardcovers. So that was a massive book. I did not get that book. Number one, I had these. I did want a hardcover, but I had these, and I just kept thinking that the omnibus would be so thick and so unwieldy that it would be difficult for me to actually enjoy the material, and this would probably be a better way of consuming the book. But then, you know, they announced the Absolute Edition. Well, let's back up a little bit. DC announced the color trades. So DC actually released the color trades, which is the individual titles again. Jimmy Olsen, New Gods, Forever People, Mr. Miracle, in their own trades with just those magazines in color. So very reminiscent of the black and white book, but in color. And instead of 2 volumes of Jimmy Olsen, it's 1 volume, which I was actually thinking about picking those up because I thought that would be a nice way of having an easy way of just picking it up and reading that one title rather than scanning through the different pages. And I'm telling you, kind of thinking about maybe I'm still going to do that. But then they announced the Absolute Edition, which is I think the first 4 to 5 issues of each of the titles, and again in order that they were published. But you know, an absolute book is just crazy insane in the size. I mean, so big compared to a regular trade or even an omnibus. And Jack Kirby's artwork really deserves to be appreciated in the largest format you can get. Now, though, what I really liked about this book as soon as I cracked it open was it has very, very, very light gloss on the pages. They're not a high gloss page. They're not really a flat either. It's a really nice paper that really brings out the kind of 70s style artwork that Jack Kirby did. Because that's another thing that's nice about these trades is it's just plain paper, which, you know, back in the day, that's how comics were going to be distributed, on even cheaper paper. So anything that has a high gloss tends to really distract from the artwork. And this has really nice paper, very minimal gloss. It looks fantastic. And again, it's those oversized pages. But again, I purchased black and white, I purchased these trades, and I purchased Absolute. And I'm actually thinking about purchasing those color trades. And I thought, how many times am I willing to purchase Jack Kirby's Fourth World? As many times as they publish it, I guess. There's certain artists out there and certain comics that everyone feels near and dear to their heart, and I know Jack Kirby is one of my favorite artists. These books were coming out when I was a kid. I remember Mr. Miracle. I had a couple issues of those when I was younger, and the New Gods, I was seeing that. I had a friend that had a couple of them, and again, Jack Kirby's artwork is so abstract and so dynamic, and his panel composition is so well done, and really it has influenced so many artists afterwards, that, you know, if they're going to come out with, say, another gigantic tome where it's even larger, like those artist editions, say if they came out with a color copy of an artist edition that was published in the original Bristol board size, I'd get that. I think a lot of us would get that. Again, because Jack Kirby's artwork really needs to be appreciated in the largest format that we can see it in. But again, DC, you know, they keep thinking of new ways of delivering this material to us, because I think they know there's a whole bunch of people just like me that will just, hey, yes, I'll get that, I'll get that, I'll get that. I mean, the only thing I don't have, and I think most of you that have watched my videos in the past know this, is I don't have the original issues. I had the original issues way back when, and I sold them when I moved out to Idaho. Now we're going on 15 years ago. Yeah, it was sad, but I just couldn't bring them with me. And I don't really miss them that much, because to me, it's not about, you know, the collectability or the value of the issue. It's really about the artwork. And as far as that, DC has not failed on providing a source to get this material. I think DC really appreciates the heritage of the work that Jack Kirby has done. I mean, for example, this logo right here, which is a great little logo of Jack Kirby's illustration, was used for DC's 100th birthday titles that they released. Back in, I think it was a couple years ago, they had a whole bunch of Jack Kirby 100th birthday where different modern artists did takes on his material, and they promoted that as Kirby's 100th. They actually released a trade of that material. They came out with this logo. But funny enough, Marvel was silent on his 100th birthday. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they released those gigantic books last year of the Fantastic Four stuff, you know, collection of Fantastic Four, Thor, and then his 70s stuff. So it's not like they don't appreciate it. It's just for some reason the 100th birthday got swept under the rug, and they never really celebrated Jack's work like it should have been done. I don't know if they just want to divorce themselves to the fact that Jack was really the co-creator of the Marvel Universe, and Stan Lee was, don't get me wrong, Stan Lee was great idea man and also really great at dialogue. But the Marvel Universe as it is today would not be in existence if it wasn't for Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is the Marvel Universe. And I think DC really appreciates his contribution to their universe, but you don't hear Marvel really going on about that as well. But this rant's going on a little different path than I thought it was going to go on, because we were talking about different collections. If you can get your hand on this, I definitely would do this as purchase. I mean, it's a beautiful slip case, large size, semi-gloss. It has a ribbon bookmark. The DC has really done wonderful jobs with these absolutes. I'm really glad to have this. I will probably keep these just because of ease of use, and I also want to point out that I still have my Jimmy Olsen trades, and even though I got rid of the black and white Fourth World titles to the library years, I kept these because these have what none of the other materials have. Is inside, back in the 70s when Jack Kirby was writing these, he also included in quite a few issues, I think it was 4 or 5 issues during the run, he did these commentaries on the letter page. And again, there's about 5 of these spread out between the 2 books. And Jack Kirby wrote these, and he talks about his thought processes and what he tends to do with the book and why he's doing certain things. I would not give up these for the world. I mean, this is the reason why I'm hanging on to these 2 trades, is because I have some essays by Jack Kirby in them, and they have not reprinted them in any of the other reprint books that they've done, and I don't know why, because I think they're great little caption points of time of what Jack Kirby was thinking. So if you can get a hold of these 2 trades and you're a big Jack Kirby fan, just for those 5 little essays, I think they're worth it. They're not in the new trade that's 1 volume that's out right now, the color trade. So Fourth World, it was a magnificent thing. I'm going to link some videos that do a better job talking about his Fourth World material than I ever could. But I just wanted to share that absolute and talk about how DC has progressed their publication of the Fourth World. I'm so glad that they hold it in such high praise, and they know that Jack Kirby's work is so marketable that they just keep marketing and selling new material, and I will buy it. And I think a lot of us out there, old guys who like old comics, will buy it as well. And I hope some of the younger readers out there do appreciate the Jack Kirby artwork. Well, that's it for me. I kind of ranted on long enough. I'm going to start doing some more videos. I think I'd like to post something about Conan coming up, and I hope you watch. If you like this video, or if you want to talk about more Fourth World and what you've collected, write some comments, subscribe, like the video, and I'd appreciate that. All right? Thank you so much.